So, good morning, everyone. Hope that you all have lots of strong coffee and are ready for the day. But I'm just here to introduce Colby with White Elm. White Elm has always been one of my favorite breweries in town. So, I'm going to turn it over to Colby to tell us all things White Elm and talk about their super fun events they have coming up.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this. It's fun. So um, we have, in the last year, things have been a little bit different here at the brewery. We always were very active in community engagement, and I came from a background of being a partner in a group of Irish pubs out in Denver, and we always sort of viewed our pubs as the neighborhood social hub, and so we had a lot of that in mind when we built out White Elm and with the events we had going. And obviously last year we weren't able to do a lot of it. So I'm excited for the spring because it allows us an opportunity to get outside a little bit more. I think most of us who work here are pretty outdoorsy, if you will. So and craft beer tends to go pretty hand in hand with outdoor activities. So really looking forward to getting, some sense of normalcy back in life and being able to get outside. So, we've really focused this year, starting with our taproom treks, which is a bicycle ride that just runs between our two tap rooms. So 7th and Van Dorn down to our Haymarket location and back. But every month we're planning sort of an outdoor excursion. So the first one that'll start next month will be another cycling ride, a gravel ride. Following that, we're going to have a group kayak ride, a disc golf outing, all sorts of things where we can safely get outside, have a couple of craft beers afterwards, be able to practice social distancing, but still have a little bit of like outside human contact. Because I know, I'm getting a little bit older, but, for you younger folks, having your social life kind of upended at a young age has probably been pretty difficult. So I think we're all ready to kind of get out and see people again. So that was sort of a long meandering version of what we're up to, but yeah, it'll all kick off with the taproom trek. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Are you guys going to be having food trucks coming back?
We will. So starting in April, we're actually going to have Pepe come back down. So he'll be down every Tuesday in April. We do have food trucks booked on a more consistent basis. I believe starting in May, we'll have a food truck every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with a few sporadics throughout April. But, a lot of the food truck operators kind of mothballed their trucks for all of 2020 and are just sort of getting back into the swing of things, which includes licensing and inventory and all that fun stuff. So I think they're waiting for consistent weather, where they know they can get a few more people outside. But yeah, starting in May, we will have them every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then starting in April, we'll be hosting Pepe back down here every Tuesday.
I also always loved how on Saturday when the farmer's market was going that Pepe would deliver some burritos to White Elm. So after meandering around the farmer's market, go have a beer on the patio and have some Pepes for breakfast. That was like the best Saturday ritual that I started last year.
Yeah, and we've got them on slate for farmers market down there in the Haymarket again. We're actually in the process right now of trying to get more than anything, figure out how we can safely do it, but to try and have yoga every either Saturday or Sunday down there through the spring and summer. And there's some hurdles to cross in how we can safely do it, but we're hoping to have yoga on the patio once a week throughout the spring and summer as well.
That sounds good. are you guys still doing beers to go and all of that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've stopped our in-town delivery, but we do still offer curbside. Every beer that we brew now after making sort of a monumental change during the shutdown. Every beer we brew now goes into package. So for us, that's somewhere in the realm of about 8 new beers in package every month. All of them are available for either curbside or in-person pickup, both at our Van Dorn location and our Haymarket location.
That's super cool to know. I didn't realize that. Is there a website or a place people can go to find out where the events are happening?
Yeah, so we're very active on both Facebook and Instagram. So any of our events will be posted in both of those social networks. Twitter tends to be more, I think, our taproom manager stream of consciousness. So things do pop up there a fair amount, but for kind of clean, consistent, and concise events, Facebook and Instagram are the best places to look.
Awesome. Okay, what is your favorite beer that you have?
It's funny. We specialize so much in heavily adjuncted beers, and I think the process of brewing them and tasting them along and getting them right has led our whole brew team to really enjoy and appreciate them, but also to kind of go back to the classics. So through the winter, I would have told you 42, which is our English dark mild. But right now it's been LNK Pilsner, so kind of a classic Czech Pilsen.
Nice. Okay, last question, because it looks like you're in a jungle. How many plants do you have in the tap room right now?
A lot. Yeah, our taproom manager, Jake, has quite the green thumb. And so he's done a great job of having a lot of plants out on the patio in the Haymarket, which gives sort of visual breaks. We have like large outdoor furniture there. It's not like the metal chairs, it's like cushioned furniture. And so when we were doing the 6-foot spacing of those, it looked very kind of stark and uninviting. And so we started filling the whole thing out with plants. And he did a phenomenal job of making that patio look amazing through the spring and summer. But then the plants have to go somewhere. And so they found their way down to our Van Dorn tap room. So it's like a jungle down here right now. They will hopefully in the next few weeks, about half of them will be finding their way back down to the Haymarket on the patio, where we don't have to worry about a cold snap coming any longer.
Well, they look beautiful, and I mean, plants are good for us anyways, so it's just nice to be surrounded by plants. If something has to tell me I can't sit at a table, I would love for it to be a plant.
We are surrounded by them, but it is sort of nice. You kind of lose sight of the fact that a few months back it was the middle of winter, because it is so green in here.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Colby. I know that White Elm is always such a big supporter of the community and has been one of the big breweries of Lincoln. And so we're so happy to bring you on this morning. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. It was really nice, and hope you all have a great day.
You too. Over to you, Kayla.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Colby. So unfortunately, our next speaker couldn't make it. He had a quick change in his schedule. And so John Chapo with the Lincoln Children's Zoo was going to be joining us, and I'm going to pop their website in the chat real quick. So he did give me a little bit of a list of a rundown of some things to talk with all of you about. And he promises he will be here next time. And next time when he's here, he promised he would talk a little bit about cheetahs, the new cheetah exhibit that opened last summer, giant anteaters. He's going to talk to us about brews at the zoo, which we all are waiting patiently for, I am sure. And then he's going to give us an update on what zoo lights are going to look like in 2021. So a little bit later on in the calendar, but he's going to be with us next time for our next Life in Lincoln. But for now, what he wanted me to talk to you all about is, one, there are still some openings on zoo camp. So if any of you have any little munchkins running around, I know my kids are signed up for zoo camp, but if any of you do, I'm not sure that we do on this on here today, but in case we do, check out some zoo camps. And then he did want me to talk to you all about how there is a new baby. So there is a new baby spider monkey, and it lives in the secret jungle. You should check out the website, because these photos, you can find them on their Facebook page too. This is the cutest darn monkey. I can't wait to take Stella. I don't know. Bryce was talking about 70-degree weather. I think that sounds like a great time for me to go visit. But that being said, it is in the secret jungle, which you all know as to be an indoor area, and the secret jungle is still open. So that is something that's really exciting. They have, if you have not been there, 100% you need to check out our zoo. It is a secret little hidden gem. But in the secret jungle, they have this really awesome, they have all of the spider monkeys in this middle setup. And they climb all the way up way high in the ceiling and down. And so the spider monkeys are just super, super cute. So we need to go check out that little baby spider monkey. And then they've been hit really hard with the pandemic. It is something that is not top of mind. I think when we were thinking about all of the different places that we need to support, the zoo is a nonprofit. They don't get any city funding like a lot of the other big cities that have larger cities that have zoos. Our zoo is completely privately funded by donations. So they are doing a large fundraising benefit with the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. Oh, Sarah, I'm glad that your kid has signed up for zoo camp too. Mine is so excited. But it's called All Together for Zoos, and it is on March 31st at 7 p.m. And 50%, it's a $30 ticket. It's virtual, and 50% goes directly back to our zoo. And the other 50% goes to the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. So that's for all of those top-notch zoos all across the nation. So really a great option. And I need to read you the list of everyone that's at this concert. Brad Paisley, Old Dominion, Ashley McBride, Winona Judd, Riley Green, Jesse James Decker, and Shy Carter. So that's going to be a really awesome virtual concert. Anyone wants to check that out and support our little zoo. They are also doing animal adoptions, and you can find out about that on their website as well. They are doing, I've taken my girls there. Well, we're zoo lovers, so it's easy for me to talk about this, but they are being super, super safe. Most of the zoo is outside, and social distancing is super easy. And there's hand sanitizer everywhere. They've got it all, they've figured it out. So if you need another space to go out and enjoy beautiful weather, I definitely recommend checking out the zoo. With that, I'll give it back to Bree.
All right, one other thing that we were just going to talk about was farmers markets. And so there are a lot of good farmers markets in town to go to that obviously is outside. You can easily social distance. So there is one downtown at the Haymarket Farmers Market that is usually on Saturdays from about 8 a.m. until noon. That will start in May and usually runs through October. We have another one that runs a really long time like that on Sunday out on the south side of town at 48th and Prescott. They are from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. They are very close to Goldenrod, so I love going to the farmers market and then getting a pastry from Goldenrod, getting coffee from the mill. They have a lot of really cute little shops around there as well, so definitely check that out. That one also will be starting the last weekend of April, runs all the way through October, and then they have some holiday markets in November and December as well. We have the Fallbrook Farmers Market, which is in the Fallbrook area over by Toast and Shilling Bridge and all those yummy restaurants. And that one won't start until June, but it runs June and July and right up until school starts. And that is on Thursdays from 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. They are probably the most family-friendly farmers market. In non-COVID times, they have bounce houses and games for kids to play while they're there. They also offer a coupon for, I believe it's $2 or $3 off per child that you have for fresh fruits and vegetables. So something that a lot of people don't realize, but they love having families come. They love having kids come to the market. And it's just a really great place to still be social distance, help our local farmers, but also have a really good time with your family. So a lot of the markets have food that you can purchase. So if you want to have a picnic afterwards, it's also a great place to kind of pick up some lunch or brunch or dinner or snack or whatever you're feeling that day. But definitely check out those farmers markets. There's a lot of them across town and they are super fun and a great way to get some produce and help out our local farmers.
Bree, for somebody that hasn't gone to one of our farmers market, can you give us a little bit of an idea of who the vendors are and what we can expect at each?
Yeah, so there are a lot of vegetable farmers and fruit farmers at the Sunday and Fallbrook Farmers Market. Downtown, I would say, is more of a craft and kind of baked good or salsas kind of place. You can get really great cheeses at all of them. They have some goat cheeses as well that a couple of places that will bring it. So there's a lot of different things that you can find, flowers, you can find seed starters as well to make your own garden at home. A lot of the farmers markets will also accept SNAP or better known as food stamps. So if you know someone, a lot of them do provide that as an option to help support and pay for those fruits and vegetables as well, which is something a lot of people don't know as well.
I'm going to throw in there, do not sleep on the gelato. It is amazing. You can't, I don't care if it's cold outside, do not sleep on it. It's good.
She now has her own business in the Haymarket, and it's right in the main part of the farmers market and everything. So they have some licorice, but they also got her gelato. So yes, 100% get the gelato.
Awesome. So awesome. Yes, I am so looking forward to the farmers market. And for those of you that are new and have not gone to the farmers market, 100% try them both. You will find a favorite. I will share with you, I know this is not the popular opinion, but my favorite is the Sunday farmers market. Hands down, love it. I know it's not as many crafts and it's not as big and it's not as busy, but check it out. It's great. So I just noticed that we were waiting a little bit for our next speaker, but she joined early. So Maggie, I'm going to pass it over to Maggie Stuckey. Some of you may recognize her as our Young Lincoln Leader Award winner for our nonprofit Young Professional of the Year. We are so excited to have her. She is the director of the Lincoln Parks and Rec, and I will pass it on over to Maggie.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday morning, I think. I don't know if the sun is out because I'm in a fishbowl here in the middle of the office, but I hope the sun was rising this morning. And if you've already had a chance to be out on the trails and in parks, well done. And also you must be training for the half marathon because that's about the reason you'd go out this early in the morning. So Thanks for letting me come in a little bit late. We had an early morning finance committee because there's nothing like talking finance with a nonprofit committee at 7 a.m. to really get your blood flowing. So I am excited to be here. I'm feeling like I didn't get to see what everybody else did. So I hope, Kayla, I'm doing this right. When we talked before this call, the thought was, what can we be doing here? Springtime is coming, the pandemic is still here, and how can parks and trails be a great opportunity for getting out in the community in a safe way? So I've got Maggie's 5 tips for safely enjoying parks and trails here in Lincoln this spring, and hopefully going to give you some ideas of things that our organization can offer you that maybe you didn't know about. So like Kayla said, I'm the director of the Lincoln Parks Foundation. We are the nonprofit affiliate that works directly with the City of Lincoln Parks Department to build awesome things. So your tax dollars are obviously going towards the basic care and maintenance of facilities across Lincoln, but we believe that there are enhancements that can happen in these parks and trails and in rec centers to make it even more awesome to visit and use. And so that's when the Parks Foundation steps in. So we're not paying for mowing, we're not paying for snow removal. That all needs to happen at the city level. And we're really clear that to the city council, don't come asking us to pay for mowing. That's what your tax dollars should do. So, but again, we're the enhancements. And so I wanted to provide a few ideas of some things that we're connected to that maybe are just above and beyond what you would normally see when you're visiting parks. So I don't know if we have any parents or super active aunts on the call. I call myself a super active aunt, but now is the time to get out into playgrounds. And if you are blessed with a niece like mine, you might hear, but all the playgrounds look the same, Maggie. They're all the same. Well, a lot of the playgrounds are the same, but there are a few hidden gems in Lincoln that look different. And so if you have a very active-minded niece who's looking for something different, I'm going to offer you some secret hints about where to take those kids in your life to give them maybe a different experience. The first playground I would like to direct you to is at Union Plaza. Union Plaza is a lot of people, we'll say people, can refer to it as kind of Lincoln Central Park. So this is a park that was developed about 10 years ago along the Antelope Valley floodplain. We put in a pretty awesome playground at Union Plaza that's kind of hidden from the street at least. The entrance to this playground is at 21st and Q, which is right across the street from the Hub Cafe. You're going to see a large berm that kind of is an overlook. It's called the Assurity Overlook. And just north of that berm is a really awesome playground that is from a different company than any other playground equipment we have. So you're going to have a crazy climbing structure, lots of really cool slides. There are hammocks that you can sit in. And when I say you, I do mean you, because while your kids are playing, you should be sitting in these hammocks because they're super comfortable. Lots of different activities to do that you're not going to find in our traditional neighborhood playground. So first playground to visit is Union Plaza. The second playground that I'd like to point out is called Ferris Park, and Ferris is located at 84th and Glen Oaks Drive. If like me, you're like, yeah, I've heard of that street, no idea where that is. It's right by Sebastian's Table and Honest Abe's, the new one that went out east. So if you're driving down that windy road towards Sebastian's Table, that's Glen Oaks. So just keep going, and there's kind of a gully, I guess, that you cross over, and you'll see Ferris Park on the north side of the road. Ferris Park has some new equipment that we're kind of testing into the system to see how it goes. It has a really cool spider climber that, again, I guess I'm using my 7-year-old niece as like the gauge. Is it cool? Marlo says it is very cool, but again, it's just equipment that you're not going to find in other parks. So Ferris Park, visit it. Let me know what you think. I'd love for that to be kind of the new norm in our playgrounds instead of the typical equipment you're seeing. And finally, although you didn't hear it from me, there is still some old school park equipment that's out there. I don't know about you, but when I go to parks, I'm like, geez, this is kind of boring. What happened to the crazy stuff that we had when we were kids that we survived on our LPS playgrounds and otherwise? So 2 parks that are still rocking some old school equipment. visit it soon because I don't know how long it will last. This stuff gets inspected every 2 months, and if there's any failures, in a blink of an eye, it'll be removed. But I invite you to go to Cahoe Park, which is located just off of 80, I'm going to say about 80th and Layton in North Lincoln. Cahoe still has some crazy metal equipment, including one of those domes that you used to climb up and you could hang from, and you could chase people and you could hide in it. You know what I'm talking about. So there's still some cool equipment at Cahoe. And then the other park is the Irvingdale Park, which is located at 20th and Van Dorn. Irvingdale is going to have a huge renovation starting in June. So that playground is, the clock is ticking on the metal equipment there. There is a slide at Irvingdale that I swear is like almost 2 stories high. It's a metal slide. If you grew up in the neighborhood, you absolutely were injured on it because it's crazy, but it's really fun, really fast, and Marlowe approved. So those are my playground hints for you this spring. My second suggestion for you is kind of a bird watching suggestion. And I know what you're thinking. Wow, Maggie, I'm not a bird watcher. My parents are bird watchers. My crazy Aunt Gwen is a bird watcher. Well, I think you might be a bird watcher. We have an amazing phenomenon that happens in Wilderness Park every early spring. There is a group of great blue herons that cruise through Lincoln. They stay for about 6 weeks. They lay their eggs, they sit on their eggs, they hatch their eggs, and then by June, they're flying off to wherever they're flying. So I have confirmation, yes, from my Aunt Gwen, that the herons are there. A great blue heron is a wonky looking bird. It's like 4 to 5 feet tall. It kind of looks like a flamingo. It has a crazy wingspan. And there is a secret place within Wilderness Park about a mile off of a trailhead that when you get to it, you look up and you are surrounded by these dinosaur birds that are all staring at you. Gwen was there on Friday. I saw the photos. They are definitely back. The eggs haven't hatched yet, but that'll happen soon. And then you'll start to see these baby herons flying around. I never thought I was a bird watcher. I went last spring and I was like, oh my gosh, am I supposed to be a bird watcher? Is this my new hobby? So here's what you need to do. There is a trailhead for Wilderness Park at Saltillo and 27th Street. Basically, you're heading south on 27th Street until it dead ends. On Saltillo, you're going to turn right and go over a railroad track, and you're going to take your first right. There's a trailhead right there. Right now, it's kind of muddy, but I feel like you can handle that. So prepare for some mud and some muck. So once you park in the trailhead, you're going to head north. You're going to see what looks like a formal trail. That's not what you want to take. You want to take what looks like kind of a park access road. So it's a road that our crew uses to get back into the park. There's going to be a rope over the entrance, and totally, you guys, Maggie says you can go through, but actually anybody can go through. It's just to keep vehicles off of it. So head down the access road. You're going to go down that maybe for a quarter of a mile and get to a Y in the road. You want to stay to the right and keep going. You're going to get to the point where you see a wooden bridge, and it's a pretty old school wooden crossing. Once you get to the bridge, it's time to look up and you are being watched. And that's where the heron rookery is. That's the word we use. It's called the rookery. Again, they arrived sometime last week. They'll definitely be here through April. I'd say through at least early May. It's wildly fun, and kids in particular are just, they honestly look like dinosaur birds. That's what my niece calls them, the dinosaur birds. I'm probably going to head out there this weekend, but check out the Great Blue Heron Rookery at Wilderness Park. Another trail to check out right now as the wildflowers are starting to emerge is the Prairie Corridor Trail, which is a limestone trail that takes you through woodlands of Pioneers Park and suddenly opens up to this vast natural prairie. Again, the flowers are starting to bloom out there. It is really, really beautiful and impressive. So to get to the Prairie Corridor Trail, you're going to head through Pioneers Park towards the Nature Center. Before you get to the Nature Center, you're going to look off to your left and see a red metal bridge. And that bridge indicates the start of the Prairie Corridor Trail. So you can either park up at the Nature Center or park by Smoke Signal, the Native American statue that's kind of by the playground there. You'll see the red bridge, head over the red bridge and head out. It's about a mile out. And once you get to the end of the trail, there's a turnaround. The turnaround, FYI, is called Coyote Point. And I invite you to guess why it's called Coyote Point. And I also invite you to be safe when you're out at Coyote Point. It's totally safe, but there's definitely some awesome animals that live out there that you'll either hear, you probably won't see them, but Prairie Corridor Trail is beautiful. The plan for that is that eventually you'll keep going on the trail and you can go all the way through Denton and down to Spring Creek Audubon Center, which is, hey, a place to watch for birds. Who knew bird watching was going to be my theme this morning? But that's going to be a 14-mile trail. Right now it's just 1 mile. We're working really hard to acquire land so we can preserve the prairie, restore the prairie, and build the trail. But enjoy it right now because it is a gem, a hidden gem in Lincoln. And my final suggestion, stay safe and healthy in Lincoln, is if you are planning to be outside this spring and have a picnic or a gathering with friends, did you know that the Irving Recreation Center has a picnic equipment loaning program? So if you want to set up badminton, you want to set up volleyball, you need some jump ropes, a croquet set, ladder ball, bocce ball, they have a ridiculous amount of what they call picnic equipment that you can rent for great prices, like $1 for the weekend. So if you go to the Irving Rec Center website, you'll see picnic loan equipment program. And I don't know about you, but when we're getting together with friends, it's always nice to just have, oh, there's cornhole over there, or, I guess hula hoops. I have never borrowed hula hoops from Irving Rec, but I probably could. Just to have some activity to do. Of course, we're all wanting to look for safe things to do outside, and that picnic loan program at Irving is awesome. So you don't have to cruise over to Walmart and buy something that you're going to use one time. So check it out from the rec center. Super easy to do. And again, if you ask me, the price is right. So those are my suggestions for spring in Lincoln. Kayla, I hope I've followed the rules, but I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has, or don't ask me about birds though, because I actually don't know much other than the herons are at Wilderness Park.
Maggie, that was awesome. That was amazing. That was above and beyond what we asked of you. So that was awesome. I have a personal question.
Yes.
What is your favorite park? Just absolute.
Wow, this is, there's 133 parks in Lincoln. So this is like a favorite child question for me. When I'm with my niece, she is a huge believer in Irvingdale because she likes the crazy monkey bar hanging equipment. So with my niece, I'm going to say it's Irvingdale Park. If it's me, I really love the bison trail that goes from Van Dorn Park out to Pioneers Park. And there's a loop there right off of Bison that's called the Fitness Loop in Wilderness Park that I think is kind of fun. So I guess I'm kind of a Southwest girl. I also love Union Plaza because I think Hub Cafe is like one of my favorite places in this town. So.
Awesome. Well, fun fact, I broke my collarbone at the Irvingdale Park.
Yeah, I told you, there's so many injury stories there. Don't be afraid of that, but just be aware. It's very
yeah, don't be afraid. My kids would play on that equipment all the time, but I will say when I was 5, that did happen.
Yeah. So when we redo the Irving Playground, there's a series of 3 parks there that are connected. Irvingdale, Stransky, which is where a summer concert music series is, and then the Rudge Park, which some people know as the Lake Street Park. It used to have a big ice skating rink behind the Bryan West facility. So we're doing this big 3-park kind of renovation, and each playground is going to be focused on a different age group. So the Stransky Playground is for the younger kids, and if you've been there, the equipment is kind of smaller and safer. The Irving equipment is going to be aimed for that 5 to 12 year group, and then the Rudge Park is going to be for our teens. So it's going to be a little more passive recreation, but it's going to be a differently designed playground. So we're hoping to get some feedback from the community about those 3 different places and see if we need to implement some of that in other parks. So I'm really excited.
Awesome. Well, if we're not going to one of your top 5 parks, but we want to go to a park that's close to us, where would we find that information?
Yeah, you can go to parks.lincoln.ne.gov. And once you're on that site, there's a very clear button that says find a park. And you can type in your street, you can type in the name of the park that you saw when you were driving home. That's kind of the catch-all for all things parks and recreation. So you're gonna find parks on there, you're gonna find the rec centers. We have 6 rec centers across Lincoln. The public pools are all manned out of this department as well. So we've got our 9 public pools and our 2 spray grounds. We have city golf courses. If you're a golfer and you're on a budget, I'll raise my hand for that. We've got some great golf courses to check out. Jim Ager is a junior course, a 9-hole junior course located at South Street and Normal Boulevard. We call it a junior course because if there are kids there, they get to play through because we're not kids, guys. That's what makes it a junior course, but everybody's welcome there. So feel free to get in 9 holes there. Let's see, what else am I forgetting? Those are kind of the primary things. Pools don't open until Memorial Day, but good news, you heard it here first, all the pools will be open this year. So we're pumped about that.
Is there anybody else that has any questions for Maggie?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you so I have a goal to like hit every single park with my kids. Is there somewhere where I can like print off a map and like check off like, okay, I made it to all these places?
Yes, and it would be at parks.lincoln.ne.gov. I will tell you a way to maybe consider organizing this awesome adventure that you're on. 27th and A is the center of the universe for Parks and Rec. So we consider the city to be in 4 quadrants, and 27th and A is the intersection. And so you can print off a map for each quadrant and maybe do that kind of in a geographic way. But I think that's an awesome idea. And I would definitely suggest parks.lincoln.ne.gov. And you'll see a GIS map there that shows you where all the facilities are. And I love that. I've heard of people doing that. I've also heard of people trying to hit every trail, not necessarily the entire trail, but we've got a pretty extensive trail system. And so doing a cruise on every trail has been another. I know the former mayor of Lincoln, Mayor Beidler, made that a pandemic goal and he hit it. And his dog was pumped. His dog, whose name is Lincoln, of course, because when you're a former mayor, you name your dog Lincoln. Lincoln was really thrilled about that challenge. So.
Well, if nobody else has any questions, thank you so much, Maggie. We really appreciate you joining us and sharing that wealth of knowledge. Maybe I'll have to take Stella and Millie out and learn and teach them a little bit about birds.
Totally. I'll see you there. Honestly, you might see me there. Grab your binoculars if you have them, and if you don't, I'm finding that my phone also works really well for zooming in. And yeah, please pass the word about the rookery. I think it's just this like crazy moment gem in this town. And yeah, would love for more people to enjoy it. So thank you all. And thank you, Kayla, for the invitation.
Thanks, Maggie.
All righty. Bye.
Bye.